So we're here to talk about the new changes that have been going on Twitch because Twitter and Discord's everywhere, like going nuts over this, right?
Yeah. The opinions are everywhere. They're everywhere. It's amazing.
They don't seem to stop, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about it because I know you and I were talking about it in DMs a little bit. I know people have been blowing up my DMs, and just as an overarching opinion, before we get into things, I just want to go ahead on the record and say I think people are freaking out over nothing.
Damn, roasting their ends. Then I'm gonna go on the record and say I think sort of in the middle. Little bit of freaking out is warranted, but some people are taking it kind of extreme. Like, yeah, I don't know. We'll get into it. We'll certainly get into it.
So, where would you like to start then about all these new changes that Twitch has rolled out for us lowly little affiliated creators?
Us tiny, insignificant gnats that make up their entire profit base. So I would say we should start out with the very, the big ones that they made a big deal about. Because there were a few that they made a big deal about that people are freaking out, and then there are a couple more that they kind of snuck in there that I think are a little worse. Like, if you're going to hide something, then oy vey. So those big ones would be on-stream logos are limited to 3% of screen size. Burned-in video ads are not allowed. Burned-in display ads are not allowed, and burned-in audio ads are not allowed. So, what would your opinion be on these?
My opinion on these is that honestly, I only have an issue with one of these things, and that is not even regarding the change so much as it is regarding the implementation. So this whole, the logos thing being only 3% of the screen, my problem there is how is that 3% going to be determined and enforced? How are we going to be able to make sure that we are compliant? Is it just going to be a basic 3% across all resolutions? Is there going to be a standard resolution that we're basing this off of? Because we know, from desktop to mobile to apps on the Xbox and stuff like that, resolutions are different, and that can play a role and a factor. And, I'd like to know, how exactly are we supposed to ensure that we're in compliance here? This is honestly the only change that I have had a problem with, and it's just because the implementation is entirely ambiguous.
Yeah, I think in terms of that, vast majority of Twitch streams are still only 720p because most people, their bandwidth can only really take uploading at that speed. So let's play devil's advocate and say that Twitch is basing that rule based on resolution, right? So Google says, the almighty Google says that 3% of 720, which is your height, is 21.6%. So we'll just, kind of fudge the numbers here a little bit. That would be your entire height. It would have to be a fourth of the height of the screen. And then 1280 is your horizontal, and 3% of 1280 is 38.4%. So that's, it's not a lot, is the point. That's 38.4 pixels on your horizontal and 21.6 pixels on your vertical. So not a lot. It's got to be pretty tiny. So.
Yes, it would be kind of small. And I guess we can say, oh, well, we want it bigger. What if people can't read it or whatever? But I feel personally like this is just Twitch's attempt to kind of standardize content a little bit more. And my personal opinions regarding all of these changes kind of factor into that. But regardless of whatever size that they've chosen, however arbitrarily they chose it, being able to ensure that you're in compliance with Twitch protocols and Twitch programs is something that every creator needs to be able to do. And I personally feel that Twitch has a responsibility to its creators to ensure that they're able to be in compliance. And just with the way that this has been rolled out, the way it's been presented, there's no templates that Twitch has given in terms of sizing to be able to, determine whether or not you're going to be compliant.
Mm-hmm.
And they've also not said anything about how are they going to be ensuring enforcement to this, Do they have people looking on mobile, where mobile resolution is maybe a little bit different? Do they have people, are they on computer? How are we doing this? And I feel like we need clarification here in order to be compliant with this particular part of the policy. And I feel like we don't have that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think in terms of mobile streams are already scaled down automatically, so really it would just end up that the logo would be even smaller than it would be on a TV or a monitor, is what that would be. And that would be probably a whole other problem, because at that point it's so small, can you even read the text? I mean, maybe in the edit we can throw a logo on the screen that's this pixel size.
Yes, I think we should.
It's not a lot of pixels,
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're definitely right about the enforcement, because if Twitch has shown us one thing, you're muted, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll edit that out. If Twitch has shown us one thing, it is that they are very loosey-goosey with enforcing things. Just especially when it comes to bans. Large streamers get completely different criteria from smaller streamers when it comes to bans. People evade bans for things that they should have been banned for, especially a lot of, more sexual content they've shown in the past that they've done that. There was that guy a couple months ago who said that Twitch was, racist towards him. So I definitely am very concerned about how Twitch would go about enforcing something like this, because so far their track record is really not great in terms of keeping everything fair for everyone.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid concern. I especially think that it becomes even more relevant in terms of enforcement and doing things fairly when we're talking about, a 30% of screen space. But we have to realise that logos comes in all shapes and sizes.
Well, it's not 30%, it's 3%.
3%, yes. Excuse me, 3%. But logos do come in all shapes and sizes. And, if we're talking cumulative area,
Mm-hmm.
if we have an oddly shaped logo, are we going to be sitting here, crunching the numbers on whether or not this is actually 3% in total? Or are we just going to say, well, it traverses more than 3% of the screen space, but in total,
Mm-hmm.
because of blank areas and negative space, it actually doesn't cover 3%? Is that something that we're going to have to worry about? We don't know right now.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely kept it pretty vague. It's just kind of crazy. They've had so many messaging issues, especially over the past 2 or so years. And then to come out with something like this while people are still already mad at them is kind of crazy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like whoever was in charge of unveiling these kinds of rollouts probably should have someone that they need to answer to before these things go out to the public. But that's kind of wishful thinking at this point. But
Yeah.
when it comes to the branded logos, 3% of the screen. Yeah, is it kind of shitty? Sure. Do I necessarily agree with it? Maybe not, but I don't think it's that bad. I do think there are some issues with some implementation that I would like to see changed before this actually does officially go live and start affecting everyone. But I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
I think that I agree, but I do have two big problems with it. And in particular, the burned-in video ads, display ads, whatever. That part I really take a problem with. I don't think the vast majority of creators like us, who have smaller audiences, who focus on a certain amount of people, I don't think it's really going to affect us. All they're really saying is, let's say I get sponsored by Gamer Subs or whatever. I can't have a picture of Gamer Subs in my OBS. It burned into the video. If GamerSupps wants to advertise on my page, they need to do it on my channel page. It can't be in the VOD. So that's, we can work around that. That's fine, I guess. I don't think a lot of creators are going to be hurt by that, but I think the two big problems are that one, it takes away more freedom from the creators and the companies that sponsor them to be able to advertise their products, whether it's their own merchandise or their advertisers' merchandise. It takes away that power from them, first of all. And whether or not that's okay is kind of up in the eye of the beholder. But I think the other big problem is event streams are going to be very hurt by this. So, Game Awards, Evo, Nintendo Directs, whatever. Unless Twitch wants to make an exception for them, which is a whole other can of worms, let's say, for example, Evo, the big fighting game tournament. If you watch any Evo stream, in between matches of the games, they will show burned-in ads. They'll say, we are sponsored by Corsair, whoever else. And that's a huge way for them to get money. And so you have to ask yourself, okay, so if Twitch doesn't make an exception for them, and making exceptions for big companies is already a problem with a lot of these, it's unfair to everybody. But anyway, not even mentioning that, what is the decision that an organization like Evo has to make now? Do they stream on Twitch? They can't show their ads. So what do? Do they leave? Do they stay? I think they're going to run into a lot of problems in that aspect. And I think that just hurts Twitch more than it helps, in my opinion. It's already struggling a lot, as we've seen. They're barely able to pay their own creators. And so to potentially jeopardize the business relationships with even more companies is kind of crazy, in my opinion. So.
I think that there's definitely some valid concerns to bring up there. However, when it comes to, removing the ability for creators to make money and breaking those relationships with certain companies that do streams and stuff like that, it might be at a financial, disbenefit for the time being, but it might also be more in line with a plan that Twitch has for its own platform. In my personal opinion, having seen a lot of these changes that Twitch has been making over the course of even the 2 years since I became a VTuber, I've kind of had it in the back of my mind, just watching all the changes that have been made and watching people freak out about it and just watching how it affects Twitch. I think they're actually being really intentional about some of the things that they're doing, and I don't necessarily see them as a bad thing. When it comes to having burned in ads on your content, right? So if we're saying, like, if I sat here and I did a video read, or, I put together a commercial and roll it myself on my channel or whatever, like these big companies do, that inherently, I think, takes away from something that Twitch has been trying to implement, which is Twitch Turbo. Twitch Turbo is meant to be their ad-free viewing experience subscription, right? And in my personal opinion, I believe that Twitch is attempting to move more towards a site-wide subscription-based kind of model, as opposed to a channel-based subscription model. And in order to do that, they've brought out Twitch Turbo. This is why they're looking at things like changing ad revenue and stuff like that for creators and that sort of thing. And if you're a platform and you are offering, hey, pay us $20 a month, whatever it is, for your ad-free viewing experience, watch any channel you want with no ads, but then you have creators that are there with their own burned-in ads, you're now falsely advertising your service. And so I think from a business perspective, that is likely something that, is in their mind, is in Twitch's mind. And I don't think that is inherently a bad thing. I feel like if there are, companies out there, like you've mentioned, certain streams, Nintendo Direct and stuff like that, where they have their own
Mhm.
ads already built in. Um, if you think about traditional television, you wouldn't send in a show and sell a show with your own advertisements built in. I mean, sure, you'd have your sponsored content or, your embedded ads, that kind of thing, your product placement, stuff like that, which, as far as we can tell, that's still all allowed within certain reasons and with certain limitations and stuff. But if you were to go sell your show to a traditional television network, you would not already have made money on ads for that content because you have the ads embedded. And I feel like Twitch is kind of trying to make that jump themselves and be like, listen, we're hosting your show, we're hosting your content. We have the right to sell ads on it. And we also have the right to sell people the ability to not see ads. And while, yes, it would be nice to say, hey, creators should be able to choose when they have advertisements, be able to sell their own advertising space on their content. And they can still do that on other platforms. They don't have to be on Twitch. They just straight don't. Twitch is maybe where they've been, but it's not where they have to stay. Especially if Twitch is showing, hey, Twitch doesn't even want their content. And I personally feel that a lot of the changes that have been made to Twitch over the past 2 years or so have simply been Twitch telling creators in particular, we do not want to host your content. Your content does not fit with the vision that we have for our platform moving forward, and we don't want you here. And they've been doing that in a lot of subtle ways, whether that be choking out smaller creators that are unable to get a footing or a platform, pushing out larger creators like their partners that no longer fit the image of what they're trying to do with Twitch by changing partnership agreements, changing revenue splits, doing all of that. It's a way for them to kind of break ties with people that no longer fit the vision of what they're trying to do moving forward. And I don't think that that's inherently a bad thing from a business perspective. Does it suck as a creator to find that the platform that you've been working on maybe doesn't like your content or doesn't support what you do? Sure, of course it does. But you have other options. Fuck off and go somewhere else. That's kind of how I see it, and I feel like that's how a lot of people see it, which is why you always see these videos. Fuck Twitch, I'm going to YouTube. You see them all the time, so people know they're not trapped, and that's first and foremost. Yeah. But I've also seen floated out there when it comes to not having the banners and stuff on Twitch, being able to put them in a burned-in perspective onto your streams yourself. I've seen it floated around that the reason for banning that is that Twitch wants to start selling their own ad spaces on streams in that capacity to be able to sell, banner platforms or banners on streams and that sort of thing. Which I also don't see that as a bad thing.
Yeah.
I actually see that as a good thing.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from there. Twitch has been around for so long now. They, even when they were just in TV, they set that model that all of these streaming services follow. But what's become really apparent to me and to a lot of people, and I think to Twitch themselves, is that model is not working anymore. It's like what you said with Twitch Turbo. Mm-hmm. It's not working. Subbing to individual channels and everything's very decentralized. It's just not working out. The creators aren't happy. Twitch isn't happy. I feel like when we think about it in terms of all these different sponsors like Gamer Subs, G Fuel, whatever, Twitch is like the blunt that gets passed around at the party to these companies. They don't see they don't see a single cut of that money that goes around at all from any
Mm-hmm.
of those ads. They are basically free ad space. They don't see a single bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think you're definitely right in terms of there's a definite possibility that they are trying to pivot to like a new form of streaming. Because right now the model top to bottom, in my opinion, is make videos on a site that isn't Twitch, bring those people to Twitch, have them watch you, sub to you, buy your merch, whatever, make a bunch of money. Well, Twitch doesn't want that. They want you to stay on their site. Every website wants that. Twitter wants it. YouTube wants it. Everybody wants that. So it's definitely possible that they're trying to pivot to a new form. But what I think is really the key there is one, they need to communicate that desire to the creators before they go pissing everybody off with changes like this. They need to communicate, hey, we are changing our vision. And two, they need to start implementing things that help the creators while they're also taking away things like this. Because if you're going to take away my ability to get more revenue and to fund my lifestyle, then I need your help to get more viewers into my stream. And Twitch notoriously has awful discoverability. It is
Mm-hmm.
monumentally difficult to get viewers on Twitch. So I think, and I really do agree with you, I do think they're trying to change. I don't really think that Twitch is just trying to piss everybody off and kill the site. I think they really are just trying to pivot, but they need to communicate that desire before making big changes like this, because everybody expects it to just stay the same as it is now. And so when you take things away, you're just hurting people. That's pretty much my opinion on it.
Yeah, I think a bit more transparency about what they're trying to do would be advisable. I mean, I can also understand, though, why they would not want to do that, especially because, I mean, let's be honest, how many streams have you been into where someone streams, and I've seen it, I've seen people that get on Twitch and they stream diligently and, you know, they're there every day for hours and hours at a time and they still can't break that threshold cap of like 3 people, right?
Yeah.
And I get it that it's frustrating for them. But when Twitch is, you know, talking to its creators, it has to find a way to differentiate between those creators that, like, hey, you there, Pagan Pixie and Night Paradox, you guys make a decent amount of money on Twitch. Here's what we're trying to do. Here's what we want to do. Here's, like, some interim steps that we're, you know, going to implement to help you out while we're making these changes. And then the people that are, you know, even smaller than us are going to be like, well, what the fuck? Why are we not getting it? That's favoritism. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like that at every rung of the ladder. And Twitch has no obligation to do that. It doesn't. And so why would it put itself through more headache like that and potentially open itself up to lawsuits where, you know, someone could say, oh, well, I'm not receiving the same kind of aid as someone else because I am a trans creator, because I'm a black creator, because I'm an Asian creator, because I'm from Norway instead of, you know, the United States, because I'm from the Philippines. There's all kinds of things then that factor in. And even though, you know, objectively speaking, Twitch might not be targeting, you know, those individual groups, it's easy to make a case that they would then have to defend themselves against. So it's easier for them, like, from a legal perspective, I think, in my opinion, to just do things with a broad stroke and be like, it'll shake out in the end. When it comes to the changes that they have been making, you know, they have at certain points, they've implemented some changes and they have provided a couple of safeguards or, you know, a little bit of a helping hand for people, as much as, you know, I think was reasonable. Could it have been better? Absolutely. Could it have been handled way differently and in a better way? 100%. But, you know, when they did the regional sub-pricing thing, they did roll out, you know, a thing where it was like, we're still going to compensate you the difference of what you would have made here or something like that. And, you know, they have it available for certain people if you're rolling ads on Twitch's schedule to gain a slightly bigger portion of the ad revenue than you had previously. They are doing things, I think, in an attempt to try to be like, hey, we're pivoting, but we're not trying to screw you over. But, I think a lot of people don't realise Twitch is a business and they have to make business decisions, and making sure that you, the solo creator, can pay your bills is not one of the things that's going to factor into those business decisions. It's just not.
No. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that, and especially, I keep thinking about the Twitch Turbo thing, because I had never really considered that, because it's been in the background for so long. They've barely focused on it. But just last month, barely even 11 days ago, they actually did raise the price by $3. So it's $11.99 now. So I can definitely subscribe to the idea that they're trying to pivot towards everybody just pays for Twitch Turbo, we get all that money, and we have that consistent revenue, and we're able to maybe pay the creators more consistently, something like that. Anything's possible at this point in the game, because things are so volatile over there. I feel like all the news that comes out of there now, it feels like it's just constantly negative. And
I don't know that it's negative. I feel like people take it negatively.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's just hard to see the big picture when, we live in the moment, and as creators, we really live in the moment. I think it is definitely hard to see that larger picture for what they're aiming for, because who knows, We don't know. We're just sort of at the mercy of them right now. So.
Yeah, but, ultimately, I think, in my personal opinion, I think if this pivot goes in the way that I have kind of been expecting it to over the course of these past 2 years, in the way that I'm definitely expecting it to now, if it does go this way, I think it will be a boon for creators rather than this big negative thing that everyone assumes it's going to be, right? So imagine that you now are able to sit down, focus on creating, you do your show every night when you get up to do your show, you entertain people, you do your thing, and you're able to count on a stable income coming from ads every night. You know how much you're going to make from that. On top of that, you have sponsored banners and such on your stream, on your content presented to you by Twitch, which, while of course Twitch is going to take, a portion of that, it does remove you, from having to go through and vet them and all of this yourself and make sure that you're cool with it, and even find them and respond to them. And if you're a full-time content creator, answering all of the emails that you get from people asking you to, do a sponsored content with them, that's a big thing. There's a reason why people hire managers to deal with that stuff, because it's time consuming. So you don't have to do that anymore.
I know that firsthand.
But on top of that, one of the things that I want especially smaller creators to consider is that if that is the model where a company now needs to pay a set fee to Twitch, knowing that a portion of those proceeds go to its creators, what that is going to do, in my opinion, is eliminate the predatory sponsorship practices of all of these shitty little companies overnight. I'm talking about the ones that, they approach you and they're like, hey, come play our game, put our banner on your channel, add us to your stream title, play our game for 4 hours, give us 4 hours of free advertising, talk all about our game and how much you love it. And if you can convince 10 people to download and play our game until level 5, we will give you $25. And then we'll give you additional money for every person after that.
Raid Shadow Legends on mobile now.
Yeah, and a lot of people, especially smaller creators, they don't realise that your audience is likely not going to click that link. They're likely not going to click that link. They're not going to download that game. They're not going to play until whatever imaginary level cap requirement is met. Even if they do hit it, chances are good that the system's not going to recognise them as having hit that cap. So you are essentially giving away hours and hours and hours of your life and your content in advertising for free. That would stop immediately. That would stop immediately.
And to add on to that, so because you wouldn't be able to have burned in ads, let's say, I don't know, Raid Shadow Legends pays Twitch to put ads on their site. What it would be is, if I were running the show anyway, what I would transition to would be just HTML ads in the player, like how YouTube does. You have the little banner that pops up from the bottom. If you're the viewer, you can just click it and it goes away. They could implement more ads on the site itself, because Twitch right now really does not have a lot of ads. It has ads in the videos. It doesn't have them anywhere else. So every website in the universe at this point uses ads just in their basic HTML. So they would probably transition to something like that. And I think ultimately that would actually be a lot better for the streamers. You'd still probably have ad breaks, which would not be great. Nobody likes ad breaks. But you would at least not have to have burned in banners. They would just be little elements in the page. And you could focus on having your show look the way you want it to look, and it would be nice and pretty. So the sponsors pay Twitch. Twitch pays the creators. The creators don't have to have burned in ads on their videos. Everyone would be served a lot better in that situation. But that's only if Twitch follows through and they implement those changes. It's really the ball is in their court right now.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And of course, this whole Twitch deciding that they're going to do their own ads thing, this is all just speculation.
It's just, we're huffing the copium.
But it does seem likely and it seems logical.
Yeah.
And I see no reason why Twitch would not do that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just been so long having that one system. I can definitely see why people maybe aren't thinking in that direction. But, everything is changing now. Kick exists, and it's basically a carbon copy of Twitch, right? You have this big competition. You want to provide a better product than your competition. Then there's YouTube, and YouTube's big win right now is they have their algorithm. It's a lot easier to find new people on YouTube. So a lot of people have moved over for that reason. And then I think really the silver bullet for YouTube is shorts. A lot of people don't like shorts, and I get it. I don't love it, but shorts are amazing. They have a little feed. You just flick through with your finger, and you just find new stuff. It's as simple as it could be. And so I think Twitch really does need to make that pivot into something new, maybe something we've never seen before, or a different version of what we have seen before. I still think, and I always have thought, that they should really prioritize clips. Clips are the original short form content. Make a clips feed. I can flick through it on my phone. I can just find new streamers. If I like this person, follow them and watch a couple streams. I think that would be great for the creators. That would really help out a lot for a lot of people, I feel like. And just, maybe implement some sort of algorithm, search algorithm, because right now everything is still separated by game category, and just the smaller streamers just get dumpstered at the bottom of the list. So, it really is, like you said, it is just wishful thinking and hoping. But they definitely have the ability to do a lot of changes that would be good for both us and for them. But it's up to them to implement those changes.
Yeah, I completely agree there. I'd like to touch on, the fact that, like you said, everything is broken down into ridiculous categories right now. Discoverability is notoriously garbage, and we know this.
Oh, yeah.
But something that I have been noticing, and I noticed this myself in my own streams, when I discovered that there was recently a food and drink category on Twitch.
Ugh.
And so I started just after the end of my streams, raiding in there and seeing all of these people. And for the most part, this is people sitting or standing in their own kitchens, making their own home cooking shows like what you would find on Food Network.
Love that.
Oh, yes. And by the way, shout out to all those people making it happen. Like, I love their content. I have never spent so much time on Twitch outside of my own streaming as I did upon finding that category. But what this shows me, as someone who thinks about things, you know, with this weird brain of mine, is that Twitch is starting to experiment with changing the way in which things are categorized. And they've been putting, and we already knew for a while, if you've been paying attention, that they have been putting a particular focus on creators that are presenting a show rather than just the average Joe Schmo that sits here, hey guys, I've turned on my camera, let's play some games. You know,
what's up, gamers? Let's play Fortnite. Let's winner chicken dinner.
Oh yeah. Listen, I have nothing to do with that. Fortnite.
Yeah, and I definitely agree there. I've seen a lot of really amazing productions that people have done, both in our space, which is the VTuber space, sort of, and also, you know, IRL creators. I've seen people like green screen themselves into a room, and it's like they're a newscaster or something, and they have a camera that goes around. It's like, holy moly. And there has been definitely a push towards a lot of like IRL content that wasn't done for years and years and years, because not everybody wants to watch people play games and make jokes, right? A lot of people want to watch somebody cook spaghetti. A lot of people want to, you know, we hate it sometimes. Some of us hate it, but people want to watch the hot girls in the swimsuits in the tubs or whatever, the pools. You know, not everybody wants to watch gaming all the time, and I think Twitch has definitely recognized that. That's a huge customer base that they just didn't bother with for years. And if you want to grow your business, which of course they do, you have to appeal to more people. So I can definitely see that being a factor.
Exactly. You know, I don't want to say gaming is dead and, you know, like start making all these separations.
No, gaming is growing.
Definitely not dead. Gaming is definitely not dead, but I think the audience of people who are willing to sit there and just watch someone play 12 hours of a game and then follow through to the next person who's going to play another game for 6 hours, I think that audience in particular is definitely on the decline.
It's on the decline, you know. It's both on the decline, but at the same time, it's always been that way. Because, how can I word this? If you compare, let's say, big streamer, whoever, I'm not going to name a name, I don't really want to point anybody out, but, you know, big streamer gets 60,000 average on Twitch. 60,000 views is a lot, but on a video on YouTube, it's like barely anything compared to where you can go. It's a drop in the bucket. So you have to consider how many people watch a streamer through their videos and never bother to watch their streams. Who I am one of those people. I watch a ton of streamers, but I never watch streams. I don't want to sit there for 3 hours and watch somebody play video games or whatever. I would rather just see the curated highlights on a video and get on with my day. So I feel like, you know, it's always been that way. That audience of people who come to your stream every day and they watch you for hours and hours and hours, that is slim. It always has been, and the only reason the audiences are the way they are is because live streaming has been around for so long, I feel like. But you know, Twitch can't survive on purely live streaming. I think that's how I truly feel. That's I think how they feel, and they're gonna have to make big moves to integrate more, stuff like clips. They should really be pushing that, and I feel like maybe they will. You can actually upload videos, full videos, onto Twitch, and they've never pushed that, so maybe that might be a factor.
I feel like that's what they should be working on moving towards. As they're making all of these changes, what I would really like to see is I'd like to see, your VODs. First of all, can we just talk about the built-in video editor on Twitch and how garbage it is?
It's really bad.
Can we get an upgrade, like Twitch, please? And I feel like if they did that and they gave us the ability to, better edit our streams, add our own videos onto our channels, almost in a YouTube-esque style thing, and then also have the live streaming, I feel like Twitch would be in a great position to do that. And
yeah,
they've really always had the ability. It's just
they've just never bothered.
Yeah,
they really should try and be a one-stop shop. I feel like. Why should I, as the consumer, not even the streamer, but as the consumer, regular person going to Twitch, gonna go watch some live streamers. If I want to watch a previous stream, highlights, clips, whatever, why do I have to go over to YouTube to do it? Why can't I just click on their channel page, see all their videos, all their clips, all their whatever, and just do it right there? And then, continuing on that idea, why can't Twitch recommend me videos from streamers that it thinks I'll like? And then I can watch those, and I can find new streamers. There's just a lot of obvious holes that they've just never bothered to plug.
Exactly. I don't know about you, but I know the people in my own community and myself, even though I'm a streamer, I do not watch Twitch.
Yeah.
I watch specific people that I know on Twitch.
Same.
And, my viewers don't typically watch Twitch. They watch me on Twitch. Once I'm done streaming, they're not, maybe we'll raid into someone and they'll hang around for a couple of minutes, but they're going to go fuck off and do whatever it is. They're going to go to YouTube, they're going to go to bed, they're going to go play games, they're going to go do whatever else it is. Like, I, as an individual streamer, have found my way into their schedule for the day, but Twitch as a whole has not. And if they don't do something about that, they're going to die. I'm not saying like, oh, Twitch is in a death spiral. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is they have to make those changes. And I think that they're very, very, very aware of those. Because if you're watching all the things that they've been coming out with, it shows that they're aware of that. And they're trying to make those pivots. But, it's not like they can just smash the reset button on the whole site and be like, hey, we're going down for 2 weeks. And when we come back, it's Twitch 2.0. Because at that point,
I would love that. But
we would all love that. But
Big Daddy Jeff Bezos is just like, no, I can't lose one of my 200 profit sources for 2 weeks.
Okay, but you also have to realise when it comes to live streaming and any sort of content even, although it's much larger in live streaming, consistency is key. Out of sight, out of mind. If your platform is gone for 2 weeks, a bunch of your creators are going to jump ship. A bunch of your viewers are going to jump ship. They might not come back. And that's a big concern. But on top of that, they also have contracts. They have contracts with their creators. And, I'm pretty sure there's some nonsense in the legal matter that says they can't just shut it down for 2 weeks,
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, they've dug themselves a considerable hole. They had a great foundation, and then they laser focused on the streaming. And now the streaming by itself in a bubble is not working out. So they've only focused on this one thing for years. And sure, Twitch is the best place if all you do is stream. I will say that without a shadow of a doubt. But to become a successful creator in the year 2023, you have to do more than just stream. It's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so many people spend years and years and years streaming at a certain schedule, blah, 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 and they go nowhere because you're not growing an audience. That's not, you could have done that in 2010, but not anymore. The internet has evolved so fast, and Twitch, I feel like, is just kind of being left in the dust right now.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of these changes that they're making is their attempt to modernize. And maybe they're not, they're not the best at it. They're not the most transparent at the fact that that's what they're trying to do. And obviously, we'd wish that they were, but I don't think it's the, oh my god, Twitch is trying to screw over all of their creators. Yeah. It's the apocalypse. Quick, everyone run to YouTube. That we're seeing all over Twitter,
Yeah, they're just very baffling, Twitch. They're baffling to me. They could come out with the greatest thing ever. We're going to help the creators. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then they would, one, message that in such a way that it seems terrible for the creators. And then two, they would sneak in something else that just feels like an FU to the creators. And I feel like they did that now with this. If you cancel your affiliate, you have to pay them $25. Like, that just feels like a screw you to the creators. That's just ridiculous, in my opinion.
Listen, again, I look at things very much from a business perspective, and when they came out and said that they were implementing this, my first thought was, wait, this didn't already exist this whole time? What?
Nope. Yeah, you can just message support and they just cancel it.
And the reason why I was surprised about this is because I understand why there even is that threshold to hit affiliate in the first place, right? You have to be able to prove to Twitch that you're able to make money that is going to be worth the amount of money that they have to spend to enroll you in the affiliate program in the first place, right? So they have to have someone go over your documents, file your tax forms with the government. They have to, there's clerical work involved in that. And so before they say, okay, you can make money on our platform, they want to know that they're at least going to make back the money that they spend doing those things. And the money that they spend, giving you the ability to have emotes, even though emotes are small and people think like, oh, it's not a big deal, it takes up space on a server somewhere. And even though it's minimal, 5 emotes per person across 3 billion people is a lot of fucking emotes,
Oh, yeah.
So they have that bar in place to show that, yes, you're worth the investment, you will make that back. The fact that they did not charge you if you dropped from the affiliate program had always been something that was baffling to me, just from a business perspective. And what I see as far as that is, listen, in order to remove you, someone has to go through and do all of that clerical work, There's not just like a let's wipe everybody from the affiliate program button, There's not a single button that says Night Paradox on it that someone can just go walk by, press the button, and boom, your affiliate's gone, your emotes are removed, all of these things have been removed from your account. That's not how that works. And as Twitch has started rolling out more and more things for its creators, right? Like it's rolled out its own alert systems, it's rolled out larger emote libraries, it's rolled out all kinds of things on the back end for everyone. It's therefore much more expensive for them to remove your affiliate than it used to be. Because there's a lot more systems that have to be undone. So unfortunately, the price of gaining all of these additional features that they've given, in my opinion, is that if you're now going to quit, it costs more for them to shut it all down. And it's just the cost, I feel like it's a little bit unfair perhaps to not be grandfathering in old accounts. So like for myself, for example, right? Like I became an affiliate before there was this $25 cancellation fee. I feel like maybe I should be grandfathered in, and if I wanted to, disable my affiliate, I shouldn't have to pay that $25, or at least give a grace period, something like that. Like, hey, you were grandfathered in, so for the next 60 days, if you choose to cancel your affiliate, you can do so without the fee. But after that, you're going to be subject to it, just like all new creators would be. I feel like that's probably a better way to go about it. But again, I'm not mad at it. I'm really not. I see the reasoning behind it from a business perspective. I understand it. Does it kind of suck? Sure, but at the same time, Twitch gives you, as a creator, the ability to start your own business on their platform where you have to pay for nothing. You have to pay for nothing. And if ultimately you end up failing, they should not have to foot the expense of your failure. Plain and simple.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand it. I can understand the motive behind it. I get it, right? I think really the issue really is just the messaging and how they go about explaining all of this to the creators, because I can understand why so many people feel like it is, an attack on them. I don't think it's an attack. I think it's just really bad messaging and really bad communication between the people over at Twitch and the people who use Twitch. And like another one they added that would add to this theory that we've concocted here, that they're trying to push towards a new version of Twitch, is they also implemented simulcasting is completely out. Even if you're not an affiliate now, you can't simulcast. Nobody can. So that definitely tells me that they're trying to push people to stay on Twitch.
First and foremost, simulcasting is not out entirely for everyone. You can still simulcast to something like TikTok, or I believe Instagram as well, something that's like a mobile first streaming service. You can still simulcast to those, just because we want to be clear about issues that we're talking about. We want to be fair. Right?
Yeah. So they have banned it on web-based video-based sites like YouTube, Facebook, that sort of thing, where it's the same experience as Twitch, basically.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's fair. I do. I think it's fair because if we are going under the assumption that Twitch is attempting to pivot into a new direction, what does every website want you to do? Which you touched on earlier. Every website wants you to stay on their website as long as humanly possible. And if they're able to watch you on YouTube at the same time that you would be on Twitch, you as a viewer have no reason to come to Twitch. Why would you come to Twitch? They do want to force people to come to Twitch, and I don't see that as a bad thing, because you as a creator, you get to choose where you put your content, right? You have other options. You can stream on Kick, you can stream on YouTube. If you don't like the fact that you can't simulcast, you have options to simulcast too. I don't think Twitch has any obligation to allow you to simulcast. And personally, just for me, this is my own personal opinion as a viewer. As a viewer, I don't like watching simulcasted streams. As a creator, that is why I don't do simulcasted streams, even if it's within Twitch, right? Like, anyone who has ever collabed with me or invited me to collab knows I don't do this whole you're streaming and I'm streaming at the same time thing. One of us is streaming, the other one is not, because I feel like it leads to a disjointed experience, Yeah, and I've seen people that, stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time, despite the fact that, simulcasting is illegal. Illegal, according to TOS. I see people do it, and, if I'm sitting in the Twitch chat and I'm talking in the Twitch chat, 90% of the time, one platform or the other is more neglected than the other, and it's usually the Twitch chat that is neglected over, a YouTube chat. Twitch is the one that's kind of just left like, yeah, we're here just because we can be.
We're here because we're always here.
Exactly, and it doesn't feel like any effort is put in.
YouTube chat is like, oh, we're the cool new people, and streamer just gives attention to them.
Exactly, and I mean, if you're trying to promote your platform and get people on your platform and staying on your platform and that sort of thing, you don't want your people playing second fiddle to the audience of another website.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like people are taking this as an attack on them and their freedom to create, but realistically, I view it as, trying to do right by the viewership on Twitch. Trying to be like, hey, if a streamer is here and they're presenting content to you, they are presenting content to you. They're not presenting content to you and Kick and YouTube and everywhere else. They're presenting content to you right here on Twitch. And I think that's the right move. I do. I think that's the right move to make.
In terms of that, I don't really... I agree that it is a good move if they follow through with everything else that we've hypothesized on, where we think they're going. I don't really think that they're thinking about it in terms of the viewer experience. Maybe they say they are, but I don't believe any corporation thinks in that way. That's just my honest feeling. But I definitely think that if they follow through with more changes to make Twitch more of a destination, a one-stop shop where you can spend more time and it's better for the creators and it's better for the viewers, then this restreaming thing would not really be as big of a deal as a lot of people think it is. Because the problem is, restreaming, a lot of people say, oh, I restream to let my audience choose where they want to view my content. No, you don't. People restream because it's a band-aid fix to fix the discoverability issue. People do it to get your streams on YouTube where they have an actual algorithm for streamers and to get more viewers and to try and grow that community. I mean, that's why I did it. I restreamed for a couple months, and it does work, sort of. So I think, again, it is the messaging. There are these things, there are these little fixes that people do. There are these things that they do. It's the same as the advertising, when I think about it. Why do people take sponsorships? Because Twitch doesn't pay them enough. They need more money, and in a lot of cases, Twitch, their audience is too small to get that good amount of money, and they want more money, so they take sponsorships. It's the same with restreaming, where Twitch doesn't have that discoverability, so they restream to YouTube to get better discoverability. It's little band-aid fixes, and they're taking away the band-aids, and maybe it is because they're going to implement new features that do help the creators. Maybe it is. But right now, we don't know. And I understand that, they're a corporation. They're gonna think about it their way. But in the perspective of a creator, a lot of people don't think the way that we're thinking about it. They think about it in the right now. And right now, I imagine for a lot of people, it really does just feel like this site that you've dedicated so much time to is just making all these dumb decisions that don't make any sense. And
realistically, the whole restreaming thing, you've never been allowed to do that. At least not as long as I've been a creator on this platform, you've not been allowed to do it.
You're allowed to do it if, well, you were anyway. You were allowed to do it if you weren't an affiliate, and if you were an affiliate, you weren't allowed to do it, but people did it anyway because they didn't enforce it. I know plenty of creators who are partnered now who got to partner because they restreamed, and they weren't going to do it if they didn't restream. because there's no discoverability on Twitch. So,
Yep.
yeah.
But I mean, for the affiliates,
do I think that's a bad thing? I don't think it is. I think it's just people trying to make it work for them and doing whatever is necessary in their mind. So I'm not really going to pass judgment on that.
I mean, you know, I'm all about get that bag, do what you got to do, but if you're going to be breaking the rules that are there, you can't really cry about the rules that are there if you weren't paying attention to them anyway.
Yeah.
And, you know, if something was already against the rules to start with, you don't really have a right to start complaining, oh no, we can't do this thing that we've always not been allowed to do in the first place. And because let's be real. Let's be real about it, right? The people that are affected by the fact that if you're not an affiliate, you can't restream, fall into two categories. One, the people who were previously an affiliate, left Twitch, went to YouTube, and were just continuing to stream on Twitch in order to leech whatever audience that they could out of Twitch to where their streams are happening now. Or two, the people who are just dipping their toes into the water of streaming and haven't made the decision or the commitment that they're going to stream on Twitch anyway. And so they're just doing both, and they're like, oh, well, you know, we'll see whichever one goes. And from that perspective, if you've already decided you're not streaming on Twitch anymore, good, get the fuck out. Please stop stealing our viewers, thank you. I'd like them to stay on the platform. They're welcome in my stream. Thanks a lot. And if you haven't decided yet that Twitch is, you know, going to be the platform for you, I understand wanting to experiment and stuff, but you and I both know, you know, if you're going to start out on a creator, you have to set your path somewhere. You have to set your path and you have to go. And from a business perspective, you know, from Twitch, I probably wouldn't want people coming onto my platform trying to still figure out what they're going to do. I don't want to pay to host them. I don't want to deal with any backlash or controversy that might come with them, you know, as they're trying to find their way and stumble through the darkness. I don't want to deal with all that. Let them do that somewhere else and then come to me as Twitch once they're more attractive to me as a company. Is it kind of shady? Yeah. Is it a little scummy? Sure. But that's freaking business. That's business, and at the end of the day, it is, realistically, even now more than ever, it is show business. And, you know, like, the people that get contracts are the ones that are getting syndicated. That's what it is. Just like in the old days on television, if your show got syndicated, that's when you made it. That is what hitting partner originally was meant to be on Twitch, in my belief, and somewhere along the line that changed and it just started like getting given out like candy, and now it's at a point, in my personal belief, that becoming partnered on Twitch is basically pointless. Pointless. And I think that is for a reason. I think it's to get rid of a lot of the partners that they have, because I think we are going to see in a decently short amount of time, I think we're going to see a new revised sort of partnership program being released.
Yeah. It's like I said, you know, we have this image of what they're going to do that we've been talking about. We don't know, but, you know, we're going off evidence just based on what they've been doing. And I can definitely see them implementing a new partner program, because partner program that exists now is just a joke. Yep. Like, it's basically the affiliate program again with a 50-50 sub split that nobody likes and they refuse to get rid of, and barely any things that actually help you. Like, woohoo, you get more emote slots. I think the best thing that you get is transcoding for partners. That probably is the best thing. But even then, you know, a lot of people who watch Twitch have pretty good internet. They don't need transcoding. I'm not saying that's everybody, but, you know, and so many people just have that opinion that becoming partner really doesn't matter. 70 viewers is a lot, but it's also not a lot. 70 viewers, most of whom aren't subs.
I believe it's 75.
Oh, 75? Okay. Well,
Yeah, I believe it's
that shows how
75.
I've been off Twitch for so long. 75 viewers is really not a lot when you consider that the people who are really making the bag and make their livelihoods off of this get 60,000 or something like that every day. Um, 75 viewers is nothing. Even if all those people are sub to you, that's still barely anything, you know?
Yep.
So definitely, I think a revised partner program would be great. I think that's definitely something they might do. Um, because something really does have to change. All that news about them not being able to pay their server costs, like what? How how did you get to this point is the big question. And they need to make changes. They need to make a comeback. And the ball is in their court. Like I said, we don't know what they're going to do. We're sort of at their mercy right now. And, we'll see. We'll see.
As far as everything that we've talked about, though, I think I have learned one key takeaway point.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, hey, Twitch, you should definitely hire me as a liaison between you and your creators.
There you go. Hire Pagan.
You know where to find me.
Hire Night Paradox as your media editor. I'll edit all your ads for you, Twitch. Call me. Call me. We could compare YouTube and Twitch's policies, but we'd be here all night, I feel like. So
I feel like you would too. I mean, if people wanted to do that, I'm sure there's 1,000 people that have already done so.
I mean, just this one, I'm on Zach Busey's Twitter, just for reference. Credit to him for posting this.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just do this one. So this is about Twitch's new branded content policy, which is the burned-in ads. So what he says here, YouTube has a similar policy for burned-in video ads. The difference is Twitch also has competing display ads and is testing live ads, sponsorships, channel skins, and more. Twitch's policy is much broader considering their aspirations. So YouTube's policy is YouTube creators cannot include promotions, scholarships, or other advertisements for third-party sponsors or advertisers in their videos where YouTube offers a comparable ad format. So that would be, pre, mid, post rolls, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And they can include them if they comply with the advertising policies and regulatory stuff and if they disclose it. So that would be the big difference with them.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I don't see it as a bad thing. Mm-hmm. I don't. I feel like just nipping it in the bud right now, because realistically, aside from the big companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many creators do you know that are currently running burned-in ads in their content?
Well, let's go on Twitch right now. I'm just going to flick through. Oh, no, I'm not signed in. Whatever.
I mean,
my experiment is not going to work. But yeah, like a lot of the big big streamers, they don't really do it a lot of the time.
Exactly. I think the biggest concern about the burned-in ads thing, where people, especially like smaller streamers and affiliates and stuff, need to worry is if you are using Spotify or something similar and you don't have an ad-free subscription, that counts as a burned-in ad.
Oh yeah,
that's a burned-in audio ad. Be careful. I think it's also going to hit.
Actually, even in Spotify's TOS, you're not allowed to use it on streaming anyway because it's piracy. Even if the music itself is like free to use, yeah, you're not allowed to do that.
But I know there's like pretzel rocks and stuff like that. If you're using anything that has ads, also I think it's going to hit a certain type of small streamer, and I freely admit that it kind of tickles me pink. I have no respect for these people. Those are the people that you find just sitting there in the corner of their screen watching YouTube for hours on end, and occasionally they'll be like, yeah, that's funny. Oh, wait, hold on, I love this part. Yeah, this is the best anime ever. Like, those people, if you're watching things like that...
anime I don't even own.
Yeah, if if you're one of those creators, you know, you can also get hit for those ads coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're one of those creators and you get banned because of that, I feel no pity for you. None.
Mm-hmm.
You deserved it. Get off the platform. You don't belong here.
Yeah, it's like, in a perfect world, right? Everybody would be able to do these more highly produced shows, and it would be cool. Like right now, I'm looking on the Twitch homepage. I've got, they're doing Games Done Quick right now, so they do have little sponsor things that pop up and fade away.
Mm-hmm.
And I see Shroud is playing Diablo. There's AI Jesus. Can we ban the AI chatbots too, please, Twitch? Anyway, that's another rant. That's for a different video. You know, if they want to push towards that sort of thing, I think they really do need to encourage it, because not everybody on the platform wants to do that sort of show thing. I don't even think it needs to be a big fancy production. I mean, Kai Cena, however you say his name, I'm sorry, I'm uncultured. That guy, you know, he's like got the most subs on Twitch or whatever, and he films in his bedroom, and he just has his friends come in, they do weird stuff, and they play video games sometimes. That is like the simplest form, but it is transformative. It's not just someone sitting in front of a game or YouTube and barely reacting, going minutes without saying anything. So I think they should encourage that. I feel like YouTube does, in a way. They don't directly do it, but they do encourage you with stuff like watch through rate, click through rate on your thumbnails. You know, they encourage you to put effort in. And if Twitch wants to push for that, then they need to start pushing the creators to go that direction. You know?
Yeah,
that's just
I
how
completely
feel.
agree. I completely agree. Yeah. And I mean, you know, we've talked about how sort of messed up the discoverability is and that sort of thing. I mean, with your streams, as far as like even trying to affect any of that, right? Like, what effort do you get to put in? Your stream title.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it, because the thumbnail that shows for your stream, you don't get to choose that. It's just going to show you whatever segment of your stream that has gone by in the past X period of time, and that's what it shows people. You know, you don't get any control over that whatsoever. And I feel like if you want people to put in more effort to make their streams better, to fit this vision that you have, you need to do more than just telling them, hey, we're going to roll ads at this point in your video, so you should plan your content accordingly. But if you don't, oh well, we're still going to roll them anyway.
Yeah.
You know, you need
I definitely agree with that.
And I feel like in terms of the ads thing, I think they did actually do pretty well with that. You know, they have the ad manager now, where it tells you how long you have until your ad rolls. If you're running a bit behind schedule, you have the option to pause it for, you know, a couple of minutes, or you can run it early if you're a bit ahead of schedule. So you do have some control there to kind of like, you know, decide how your show is going to go. You have that control there, and I'd like to have that control there for other things as well, especially our thumbnails. Please allow me to put a thumbnail on my stream.
Oh God, I would love that. Yeah.
I need this in my life. You have no idea.
Yeah, because YouTube has that. YouTube has that, and it just shows up in your recommended like any other video, and it just says live. So
yes,
it's so much more eye-catching than just my tiny little avatar in the bottom right and just a random frame of gameplay. Like,
right, or heaven forbid, like, you have an issue with your model, or for a face streamer, you be sneezing, or whatever happens when it takes that shot, right? When it takes that little snapshot, and then it's like, well, this will be sitting here for the next, you know, half hour, whatever. That's great, yeah. And people really want to click on that.
Oh, yeah, they want to click on me sneezing my guts out, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, what this vision reminds me of is, this is going to sound so funny, but I do have a good point with this, is this vision of Twitch that we're having and we think they're going towards really does sound like public access TV. Public
Mm-hmm.
access TV is an art form that has just died out. You know, it, pay us a certain amount of money for a local TV station. We'll let you have it, do your weird low budget show, and then done. Um, it really does remind me of that, except instead of paying Twitch to get space on their platform, Twitch is asking the advertisers to foot the bill instead.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I think that's definitely, they could corner that idea. People like just finding weird stuff, interesting streams, that sort of thing. People like that sort of thing, but it's just so hard right now on Twitch. You have to hear about it from a friend, or you have to get lucky, or, and not everybody wants to watch the big, huge things. I don't like watching any stream where the chat is going by so fast I can't read it, and the streamer doesn't read any of the chat because they can't read it. I like to watch, sub 100 viewer streams. That's pretty much all I watch, or I watch my friends.
Same.
I don't want to watch big creators. I just don't. I like to watch their highlights. I don't want to watch their streams. So I think, we really are huffing the hopium, but it's the ball's in their court. I keep saying it, but it's true. They have so many opportunities right now. They could change everything and really turn it around, but it's up to them to make that decision. And if they don't, then the site dies. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So
coming full circle then, coming all the way back around to the start, Twitch released a bunch of new information for us, a bunch of changes being made to the platform. I continue to think that everyone freaking out over Twitter is freaking out over nothing. Knight, how about you?
I don't think the people freaking out are like dumb or whatever. Some people might want to say that, but I don't think anybody freaking out is like an idiot over it. I think it's just hard when you're in that position to see the bigger picture, especially when Twitch has not communicated anything about the bigger picture to us. It is in their messaging that their messaging is coming off as just, we're just changing things. We're just making it harder for creators. And for all we know, maybe they are. Maybe they're just like, screw those guys. We're just going to suck all their money from them, end of the site, we're done. But in a more hopeful version, maybe they are trying to change things and they just haven't shown it yet. So that's my opinion on the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is stupid in terms of like freaking out or panicking, but I don't want people to go ahead with this idea that like Twitch is out to get them. It hates them. It does not care at all about its creators. I feel like Twitch could care more about its creators. Sure, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It could be much more appreciative of them. But I'm fairly certain Twitch knows without its creators, it does not exist. So, the idea that it's intentionally just trying to smack everyone in the face, come on, guys. No.
Who knows? We'll just have to see. I will hope for the best, especially for all my friends who have stayed on Twitch for this long. They don't want to leave. I will hope for the best. I want Twitch to get better. I want them to add more features that help both them and the creators. I want things to be better, but it's up to them.
So I have one final question then before we wrap up for the evening. If Twitch did become this platform, the Twitch 2.0 that we've been talking about, this hopeful shining bubble of what Twitch could be, if it did become that platform, would you be back?
Yeah, probably. I have to say, because my move to YouTube, partially my fault because I did it so fast. It didn't go amazingly. Not everyone in my audience moved over. And also, it's more relaxing to stream on YouTube. I feel less pressured and I feel less just stress in general. But I miss the community. I miss being around all my friends. I miss my friends popping into my streams. I miss that aspect a lot. And definitely if they made these changes, I definitely would come back. I want Twitch to be a place where people who love to stream can stream and also make their highlights and everything. Because YouTube right now is you make videos and you stream sometimes to hang out with the community, maybe get a couple super chats or whatever. Unless you're like a big company, in our case, company VTubers, all they do is stream. But for the vast majority of people, it's make videos, stream as like a side thing. Twitch has the potential to be the complete inverse of that, which would be stream as a focus and then trickle all that down into videos, which would then feed back into your streams. And if they did that, I love to stream. It's probably my favorite thing besides editing. I love streaming. So if they were to make that change and basically become a true competitor to YouTube just with a different inverted scheme, I think that would be great for not only me, but a lot of people. Because I know so many people, all they want to do is stream and maybe edit videos and whatever and be done with it. They don't want to make like hour-long videos like I'm planning to do, right? They just want to stream, have fun, hang out with their viewers, edit that into little clip compilations, and just grow an audience. So I think I would definitely come back if they were to make these changes, but I'm just waiting and seeing. I'm not making any big decisions right now.
Yeah, of course. And I feel like a lot of people also would come back, or at least, the very least, gave Twitch another chance. Which I just want to say again, Twitch, this is why you need to hire me as a liaison. Anyway, Knight, thank you for sitting here and chatting with me about this stuff tonight. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Pagan. It was lovely to chat about this sort of thing. It's always fun talking about the content creation space, the sphere. I love talking about it, very passionate about it. And if you ever want to hang out and talk about content creation news again, just hit me up.
Absolutely.